I quickly want to cut across to Ijaz Ahmed, who's joining us from Pakistan with the latest. Ijaz Ahmed, welcome on India Today. What more can you tell us, Ijaz? What's the latest that's happening on ground?
Yeah, indeed, it is a difficult situation. 7 terrorists belonging to BLA have reportedly from BLA, they have hostage a very big and very long train called Jaffar Express. But security forces have reached on the ground, and they will the Pakistani security forces is fighting for very long against these terrorists and different kinds of terrorist activities. They are experienced, and they will. On the other hand, they are 7. The terrorists who have hosted the train are, as per the BLA claim, they are 7 people. So I think it will take very long, not in few hours, but it may take 10 to 12 hours. Then the train will be freed, because terrorists have their own capacity. Since they are very little in numbers.
Ijaz, what can you tell us about the lay of the land for the benefit of our viewers in India and across the world? What kind of territory is in this area where the train was apparently hijacked and a part of a track has also been blown off? Is the information that we're getting? Can you confirm that? Has the track also been blown off? And what kind of terrain is this?
Balochistan is a different, different province. It has very vast empty areas, mountains and carriages, and also the agricultural lands and the barren lands. So everything is under speculation. Everybody is speculating. Nobody still has the actual information, except those few who are on the ground or who are in contact with people on the ground. So nothing can be said finally, but and the situation will be cleared when the operation will concluded, or the issue will be resolved. So we will have to wait and see how security forces conducted, and I'm sure Pakistani security forces have gone through such incidents in the past. I remember in 1994 when Ustad Zabani from Afghanistan got a bus of students kidnapped, and the bus was brought to Islamabad. They were brought to the Afghan embassy,
yes.
And 7 terrorists were included in that incident also. And the security forces engaged them in the talks, and then finally they were got killed. So I think that the security forces will have their own strategy.
Stay with me for a moment, Ijaz. I want to bring in my colleague Shivani Sharma, who's tracking developments on the story very closely. Shivani, there has been a spate of recent attacks in Balochistan, and we'll talk about that spate of attacks in just a moment. But any information that you've been able to glean from Pakistan about the train being hijacked, number of people on board, any details about who are these people on board, and the number of people who've taken people captive?
Gaurav, this was an operation that has taken on by BLA on a specific input, because this train that had 9 bogies that started from Quetta was carrying majorly the security forces who were going on leave in the month of Ramadan for Eid. And at a specific location, this whole attack was planned. The figure of 450 is the registered strength of people on this particular train, out of which the BLA has already released children, women, and the residents of Balochistan. So the final figure that is now captive with the BLA is around 100, and that's what has also been brought out by the BLA in its statement. And we know that a few days back there was an announcement by BLA that they are now uniting all these smaller groups who have been fighting for Balochistan in a Baloch National Army. And they are also taking up a big strategy, a big technique which is technologically driven. Their style of fight will change. And after this declaration, Gaurav, this happens to be the first major attack on the security forces of Pakistan. Here, where this train was traveling to, and they were on leave. They were going for leave. In fact, most of these people in this train were more than 120 personnel were there. They were from police forces, they were from military, they were from the anti-terrorist organization.
Stay with me for a moment. A breaking news coming in. News just coming in. The Pakistan Army has rushed in a relief train with reinforcements, and this reinforcement train has Pakistan Army soldiers and doctors. The relief train has been dispatched from the Quetta railway station to Sibi in Balochistan after the Jaffar Express was hijacked. There are more than 100 military personnel. That's the information that we are getting. Military personnel on board the train that has been hijacked. Additional train has now been sent in with reinforcements. Ijaz Ahmed, senior Pakistani journalist, with me on this broadcast. So, Ijaz, this would actually completely change the dynamics in case it's not just civilian passengers, but military personnel who were going on home leave or during Ramadan. If military personnel have been held hostage, that actually changes the dynamics of military operations, wouldn't it, Ijaz?
You are right, but the operation will be enforced and will be implemented in phases. First phase, and that would be the top priority, to evacuate those women and children who are freed by the people who have hostage the train. So the first priority is to bring them and ensure their security. The first phase is that, and in second phase they will try to finish these terrorists who have hostage the train. And that is, if the security personnel are hostage and around 100, as said by BLA, so that would be that will give a bit relief to the security forces who will conduct the operation, because security personnel are trained in a different way, and the civilians are not trained in that particular way. So civilians are being evacuated who have been released by.
Ijaz, stay with me, catch your breath, have a glass of water. I have Mehran Mari, a Baloch activist, joining me on this broadcast. Mehran Mari, what can you tell me, sir, about what's happening right now, about this operation that's being undertaken? Why have BLA fighters hijacked a train and taken people hostage?
I think we have to correct the terminology about, even the gentleman before, I have no idea who he was, but he was babbling on so much about hostages and the terrorists and the security agencies. This is the Baloch population, Baloch people's reaction towards atrocities being carried out by Pakistani agencies and the military in Balochistan. So I don't think we can give it just a BLA or call it terrorists or call it, give it any name.
But we're giving it no name, Mehran Mari. All we've said is BLA fighters have taken control of a train. I want to understand from you why.
Yes, I think it's, if you do realize, in the last 40 days, 60 enforced disappearances have taken place in Balochistan, and the Pakistani army has intensified its military operations in Balochistan. It's a clear reaction to that progressing situation in Balochistan. It's a reaction to that.
Do you have any information about the current situation on ground, about who the fighters are, what kind of weapons do they have, what kind of training and tactics do BLA personnel have?
I think even if I had that information, I would not like to share that with the Pakistani militaries to bring it to their attention. But I think more importantly, what we have to focus on, who are the people on the train? Before, these Pakistani military personnel and the abaters used to use the ground, basically trucks and buses for transportation. But they were intercepted by Baloch fighters. Now they're using the train. So the majority of people on the train are not civilians, but they're military personnel who were going for Eid or Ramadan holidays to their own consecutive places or wherever their origins are in Punjab.
And what are the demands, before I go back to our guests from Pakistan, Mehran Mari, what are the demands of the Baloch fighters who've held a train, who've taken a train full of Pakistani service personnel on leave hostage? What are the demands?
I think the demands of the Baloch fighters, I'm not clear on. I'm sure they will reveal their own demands, but the Baloch nation demands the withdrawal of Pakistani fighting forces from Balochistan, and we want the end of occupation by Pakistan of Balochistan. The demands are very clear.
But okay, am I to understand that Baloch Liberation Army or the people of Balochistan want Pakistan Army out of Balochistan? Is that even possible? You raised the issue of enforced disappearances. So let's take this one by one. I have Arzu Kazmi, a senior Pakistani journalist, joining me on the broadcast. Arzu Kazmi, enforced disappearances is an issue that's been Pakistan's Achilles heel. Baloch women led a long march to Islamabad. They weren't even permitted to sit at the press club and protest. They weren't even permitted to air their grievances. So in case they're not allowed democratically, what other option do they have except what Mr. Mari describes the BLA doing?
Exactly, Gaurav, you are 100% right, because यहाँ पे जो एक कहा जाता है ना कि मिसिंग पर्सन्स का इशू है, आई ऑलवेज टॉक अबाउट इट, कि उसकी वजह से यहाँ पर बहुत बार बलूचिस्तान से लोग आते हैं इस्लामाबाद प्रेस क्लब के बाहर, वो बैठते हैं, प्रोटेस्ट करते हैं, मगर कोई गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल्स आके उनको पूछता तक नहीं है। अब इन्होंने इस्लामाबाद प्रेस क्लब के आगे जहां वो बैठा करते थे वो हिस्सा भी पूरा तोड़ दिया है, बिकॉज दे डोंट वांट एनीवन के वो यहाँ पर आए और यहाँ पे प्रोटेस्ट करें। तो उनकी डिमांड्स जो है ना वो ये उनको सुनते हैं ना ये उनको कोई बात करते हैं, दे जस्ट बाय फोर्स ये अपनी सारी चीजें जो है वो मनवाना चाहते हैं। तो फिर यही रिजल्ट निकलेगा अनफॉर्चुनेटली। ये तो हम बहुत टाइम से कह रहे थे, इस वक्त आप बात कर रहे हैं, आप लोग, आपका मीडिया जो है ये खबर को दिखा रहा है, इस न्यूज को कवर कर रहा है, और हमारे मेन स्ट्रीम मीडिया का हाल ये है कि अभी भी मैंने सामने टीवी ऑन किया हुआ है और ये न्यूज हमारे यहाँ बिल्कुल चलाई ही नहीं जा रही। तो यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड हाउ हमारे यहाँ किस तरीके से हमारे यहाँ जो है वो कंट्रोल किया जाता है, हाउ दे कंट्रोल द मीडिया, कि वो यहाँ पे बलूचिस्तान में क्या कुछ हो गया और यहाँ पर न्यूज तक नहीं दी जा रही। अभी एक छोटा सा पटाखा भी अगर चला दिया होता ना किसी ने पंजाब में, तो चिल्ला चिल्ला के हमारे टीवी चैनल्स का हाल खराब हो गया होता। बट दे नेवर गिव इम्पोर्टेंस टू केपीके एंड बलूचिस्तान।
ये तो आप बड़ी बात कह रही है, ये तो आप बड़ी बात कह रही है।